My town is considered to be one of the safest neighborhoods in Georgia. I used to live in Los Angeles and never quite felt safe there at night. Here, in my neighborhood, I can take a walk outside at midnight without having to worry about people asking for money and/or cigarettes, or getting mugged for that matter. With that said, after I moved to Georgia in 2016, I would often go out for a jog late at nights because it was just way too hot during daytime. So one night in August of 2017, I was about wrapping up my nightly jog and was walking home to relax my muscles. I was about 3 blocks away from my house when this really beautiful woman approached me and said hi. She told me that she had moved here a few days ago and asked me if I could lend her a couple of toilet papers. Apparently, her car was in the repair shop and she wasn't getting it back for another 2 days. I told her that it was not a problem and that I'd be more than happy to give her a ride to the shop the next day if she wanted. She told me that she liked that and I took her to my house to give her the toilet papers. Once inside, I offered her coffee. She said yes, I got the brewer running, then brought her the toilet papers as promised. She was texting someone when I walked into the kitchen with the TPs and asked me if it was okay for her brother to come by and say hi. She said, "I'll be honest with you, we ran out of coffee this morning. My brother's dying for a freshly brewed Joe. He's just coming here for the coffee. I'm sorry." I responded, "Hey, it's really no trouble at all. Please tell him to come over. It'll be nice to make some new friends around here." I admit I was mesmerized by her beauty. I couldn't and wouldn't have said no to her short of her asking me to sign over my house. Minutes later, her brother arrives, I invite him in, and we're now all in the kitchen. I turned my back on them for maybe 10 seconds as I was getting the coffee ready for the brother, when the lights just went out until I woke up on the floor of the kitchen. As I came to, I felt a sharp stinging sensation at the back of my head. When I touched the area of the pain, then brought my hand to view, I saw that I was bleeding. Seconds passed as I became more coherent, and I began to realize that my right hand might be fractured. It looked funny, it felt not so funny, and I couldn't move it due to the pain. I used my left hand to call the police, and they soon arrived, followed by the ambulance shortly thereafter. I gave the cops a short statement and was sent to the hospital right away. The doctor told me that I was hit at the back of my head with something blunt and heavy. He felt that the shape of the injury looked similar to a patient's he had treated earlier in the week. That person had been attacked with a piece of pipe. As for my right hand, it had been stepped on multiple times by whom I assume was the supposed brother of the woman. I don't know what I did to anger them so much, but it wasn't enough that they knocked me out and stole from me. They had to break my hand, trash my kitchen, stab all 4 tires on my car, then piss on my bed for them to be satisfied for the night. In any event, the 2 degenerates were never apprehended by the police. Nothing much happened in town after that, but it goes to show you that you are never truly safe no matter where you are. It was also an incident that helped me realize how naive I really am. It's good to help people, and it's okay to find a beautiful woman attractive. But you should never put your guard down around strangers. It's kind of sad that people will use your kindness to take advantage of you. But I suppose that's the world that we live in. I'm going to be wiser through this experience, but I hope it won't end up turning me into an uncaring person. I work in a building that is an indoor basement parking lot. Although the building's been maintained nicely over the years, it's still an old structure and they could really use some renovation. This is especially true in the parking lot. The management paints the wall every couple of years and they keep it clean, but the lighting is terrible all around. Parking the car in the morning is not a problem, since you normally have plenty of people coming in around the same time. The problem arises when I have to stay at the office for an hour or 2 longer to finish up a project, or if I messed up something. When I get off work with everyone else, I normally wait for Kyle, my closest coworker, so we can go to the parking lot together. He knows how scared I get in there and is kind enough to always walk me to my car. Kyle waits for me until I start the car. I open the window when I do, say goodbye, and it's only then that he goes to his own car. 5 months ago, as I was wrapping up a monthly report for the next morning's presentation, my boss called me into his office and complained about a call I had made with a client earlier in the day. He was pissed off pretty good, and he made that very clear during our conversation. I was already on thin ice because of a mistake that I had made the previous month. I knew I couldn't afford to make another mistake with this month's report. So as much as I hated staying in the office, I decided to go over the report once more before I left the premises. By the time I was done checking all the numbers and graphs, the time was already 8 p.m. I was dreading going to the parking lot on my own. The building's 10 stories tall and is divided by 5 floors, with the lower 5 being used as commercial units and the upper 5 as residential units. So they do have tenants going in and out of the building even after the office hours, but you rarely see anyone in the parking lot after 7 p.m. Way back when I first began working there, I once asked the security guard if he could walk me to the parking lot. But all I got in return was the stink eye and them walking away from me without saying a thing. Naturally, I didn't bother asking for any favors and just walked out on my own. I took the elevator and arrived in the basement. I was scared, but I wasn't panicking or anything like that. I got off the lift and began walking toward my car when I had this feeling that I was being watched by someone. At first, I thought maybe I was imagining things out of fear. But halfway to my car, I felt something at the back of my head, like this sensation that my brain was being pulled out of my skull. And then I heard the footstep. Someone was following me, and that person had made a mistake. He stepped on the floor a little too hard while trying to keep up with me. I don't know why I did that, but I stopped in my tracks. Maybe I was trying to check if the footsteps would continue when I stopped, or maybe I just froze out of fear. Regardless, the footsteps could no longer be heard, but something was telling me that I was still in danger. I was going to run to my car, but before I did that, I made sure that I was holding onto the key fob for the car in my hand so I could get inside the car as soon as I was next to it. Seconds later, I was legging it to my car, and I could clearly hear another person running not too far behind me. I couldn't see the chaser, but I knew he was close. Therefore, instead of running straight to my car, I took a turn behind the van, got low to the ground, then began searching for the feet of the chaser. That's when I saw him some 5 cars away from the van. He was walking slowly while trying to look for me, and it looked as though he was surveying the area. I was scared, but I knew I couldn't stay in the same spot for too long. So before he could get any closer, I crawled to the front of the van, then slowly moved forward toward the chaser, but hugging the wall so he couldn't see me. The plan was to crawl to the car next to mine, wait for the chaser to move further in the opposite direction, then hop inside the car after gaining enough distance between me and him. The plan worked, but barely. I locked the door as soon as I jumped inside the car, but I underestimated the creep's speed and he was already banging on the driver's side window by the time I was starting the car. While trying to pull the car out of the parking spot, I hit the car next to mine and in the process the chaser as well. Not that I feel sorry about it, but hitting him wasn't in the original plan. It just worked out that way because I had turned the steering wheel a bit too early due to the haste and panic setting in. I drove out of the parking lot right away, put enough distance between me and the chaser, then dialed 911 in hopes to catch the perp. Unfortunately, he got away. The police had sent out multiple cruisers to both my location and the parking lot. They arrived at both locations fast enough, but the perp was faster. I was hoping I had injured the chaser badly enough so he'd be slowed down. Sadly, that wasn't the case. The police regularly patrolled the area around the office for about a month. The building management installed additional cameras in the parking lot, and they had renovated the entire lighting system in there as well. I no longer stay late at the office, and Kevin always walks me to my car. I feel better today than I felt a month ago. I continue to improve on self-reliance and have hopes that I'll feel safe again in the near future. It may be true that I'm still living in fear, but I'm not going to let that creep ruin my life. I'll get better and stronger. I know I will. Hey guys, Dennis here. I hope you're well. I'm doing pretty good. What the hell is that? I've been really busy at work, no different than most of you guys. You guys also know that my mom had to go in for an emergency surgery, but yeah, because I've been so busy, I haven't been able to do a proper outro in a long while. I'm going to answer some questions that I received via email and on the comment section. This could actually be the last Q&A because the channel's pretty much on its last leg, and I'm not really getting that many questions and comments anymore. By the way, I'm not saying that this is the last video, but I'm only saying that it's the last time I'll be answering questions during the outro. Let me explain what I mean by last leg. I've gained about 200 subscribers in the last 28 days, and that's a lot considering the size of my channel. The thing is though, the growth of my channel has zero effect on the number of views my videos get. I'm not saying that it's true, but it's almost as if YouTube has put a cap on the views my contents could generate. I'm not saying that's a fact, I'm just saying. Okay, let me answer some questions. But before I do, I'm going to warn the old subscribers that the answer to these questions are most likely information you already know. I'm only answering these for the new subscribers, although I don't really think many of my new subs are getting my videos anyway. Number 1, are you Mexican? I get asked this question a lot because I do speak Spanish and my accent had changed from the more traditional sounding Spanish to Mexican accent. This happened through the 3 years that I've worked alongside my Mexican friends in Chicago. I used to work as a chef, and while in Chicago, I've worked, lived, and hung out with my Mexican coworkers. So essentially for 3 years, I've literally spent 24 hours a day with Mexican folks and thereby adopting their accent. Question number 2, where are you from? This I guess is kind of related to the first question, and the answer is New York. I was born in New York, but raised in South Korea, Japan, Italy, and Paraguay. I came back home to New York when I was 14. Question number 3, what is that accent of yours? It's a mix and mash of Korean, Japanese, Italian, Spanish. Again, I grew up in all those countries when I was young, and the accent of each of those nations happened to be very strong. In any case, I can't really pinpoint a single language that affects my speech more than another. Question number 4, what's your relationship status? What's your relationship status? Not that anyone but a few people who've asked this question would be interested, but I'm single and I've been single for about 2 years. I also intend to stay single for the next few years, and that's because I've got a couple of goals I'd like to achieve within 5 years. My plans are to sell my current house after about 4 years from today. Then I plan to buy a ranch/farm in Texas. I want a big plot of land where I could work the land and live off the land. When that happens, I'll probably start a YouTube channel about a city guy like myself adjusting to the life of a rancher/farmer. Question number 5 and 6. How tall are you? And someone also asked, what's your shoe size? I'm 6'2", and I wear shoe size 12 or 13. It often depends on the brand, but usually size 12 fits me well. It was weird answering that question. Question number 7, and I get asked this question quite often. Why can't you upload more often? Well, the answer's simple. I've got a full-time job. YouTube's my hobby, and I've got to pay the bills somehow, so there's your answer. Question number 8, and this is the last one. What kind of chef are you? Well, you might have watched an old video because I no longer work as a chef. I used to be a sushi chef, but now I work for a holding company. I know it's a weird transition to make from a chef to a corporate position, but I have backgrounds in marketing, network management, and in finances, specifically in trading stocks. So in a sense, being a chef was an outlier in terms of my career choices so far. Which, by the way, it brings us back to question number 7. I travel a lot. My job requires so. I oversee most of the medium to large acquisitions, and I have to physically be in the cities of interest. That's another reason why I have a hard time uploading more often. However, that could change in the near future. I'm thinking of signing up for a mobile hotspot plan like Freedom Pop and just uploading my videos when I'm on the road as I work on them on my laptop. It's probably gonna happen soon. And that is it for this video, guys. Thank you always for supporting me, and please know that I truly cherish your loyalty. I'm truly appreciative of all your kind words. I'm always amazed that even though my latest videos seem to hardly crack 600 views, they still get 70 plus likes, and they are all coming from you guys who are watching this outro. I'll continue to work on the videos to make them more mainstream, for lack of better words, or I guess more appetizer friendly. But I'll always keep things spooky, and I'll quit before I turn this channel into sunshine and rainbows. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.